Guys, Robert the Realist back today with another podcast. And we do have an empty seat today. We won't say whose name that is, but she knows who she is. But we do have Gia.
Hey.
So she's I think the last thing I called her was editor-in-chief, so that's what we'll keep it with today.
We'll keep it with that today.
And we do have a special guest. Believe it or not, he told me that he doesn't like speaking. And I don't know. I can't wrap my head around that one yet. I would consider a very good friend of mine. I went over to his place, which is in the Philippines. So it's not like in another city or state, it's another country, and did a missions trips over there. And it was everything and then some of what I thought it was going to be. Leading another group to go back in November. Super excited to go back. Caleb Paget, which he has been a member of our church for longer than I've been there. And then he is, what do you call yourself with Beyond Egypt? I mean,
I'm technically the president of Beyond Egypt, I guess.
President of Beyond Egypt. So I like it. So he's went over there, and I'm not going to get into his story. I'm going to let him tell the story. So I've asked Caleb to share with us a part of his life that I didn't know was when he found Jesus. And then from there, we're going to segue into Beyond Egypt, and I'm going to learn even more about it.
All right.
So Caleb, tell us about Caleb.
Man, that's a very weighted question right there. I mean, I guess we can start with testimony. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's do it.
For me, whenever I was growing up, we were what we would consider poor here in the U.S. We were pretty poor whenever we were younger, and my parents were not in a very good relationship, and they divorced when I was 9 years old.
Okay.
And from that point on, like, everything in my life changed. I have an amazing stepfather. He never once made us feel like we were anything less than his own
That's
children,
awesome.
you know, and that made a huge difference in my life. But during that season of my life, my mom and dad, or my mom and stepdad, they weren't who they are now.
Okay.
And so they were gone a lot. And my real father was not really part of the picture either. He was supposed to have us every couple weeks, and that was his visitations. And we would have auctions. And like Richard used to do auctions back in the day. Okay. And it would be every second and fourth Saturday, you know, and that was supposed to be my dad's visitation days. So as a kid, I'd have my backpack and I'd be all excited for my dad to come pick me up, and he wouldn't show up. He wouldn't show up. People would come to the auctions and see me all the time. You know, I'd be sitting there by the door and I'm like, no, he's called. He said he's going to be here in 30 minutes. And an hour later, he's still not there. And I'm calling him. He's like, oh, I'll be there in 30 minutes. And instead of just telling me he wasn't coming. But as a child, you don't realize some of these longing, or these longings and these hurts, you know, that pulls out of you until later in life. My brothers, literally all of my friends, everybody started getting into drugs and stuff whenever I was really young. And at 13 years old, they started pushing me to do drugs. And this is one thing I see God's hand in my life, where I was so thankful because never once did I do a drug.
Wow.
But it was given to me all the time.
Yeah.
It was okay, here. They first just started with them inviting me to do it with them. And then it was you take this joint, and if you want to smoke it, you can go do it by yourself. So that way, if you don't like it, then nobody ever knows you did it. And if you do like it, well, then you can do it with us, you know. Wow. And it just turned into this life of brokenness, you know. And I watched as things just got worse and worse. At the age of 13, I'd start staying on other friends' couches. I mean, almost Monday through Friday. I did not live at home, and I would move around, and just whatever it took, you know, to not be at home and not be around what I was being exposed to, and I didn't like it. And again, I didn't know God at that time.
Right.
That was just his hand of protection, you know, over me, is how I see it now.
Yeah, 100%.
But then at 17, I ended up moving to San Diego, California, as soon as I graduated high school. A week later, 5 days later, I packed everything into the back of my car and I moved to San Diego.
Wow.
And I had a cousin there who was a Christian, and she was part of this Bible study and a church there, and she would invite me to go with her. And I felt obligated to, just because I was living with her at the time, you know. And she was quite a bit older than me. I didn't really know her very well. I knew her, but I didn't know her very well before that. But she was incredibly gracious to open up her house to me and say, hey, if you want to change your life, if you want to do something different after high school, the opportunity's open here, you know?
Yeah.
And I took advantage of it because I had to get out of here. I know on your podcast last week, you talked about suicide and stuff like that. And that was a really hard time in my life where I would pray when I lived here. Before I moved, I would pray all the time. God, if you're real, just take my life from me.
Oh, wow.
You know, I would never commit suicide myself. Whenever 9/11 happened, I was almost jealous. And it might sound terrible, but I was almost jealous because I was just Lord, why couldn't that happen here? Like, why couldn't you have just taken my life already?
Wow.
You know, because I just wanted to die. I was so unhappy.
And that was at the 17 mark?
Yeah, that was at like
Yeah.
15 to 17.
Okay.
Yeah. And people who knew me back in that time would have never known it.
Yeah.
You know, like people always seen this happy person. I was always really positive. I've always been adventurous and like to have fun and stuff like that and do stuff. But it was really, really a tough season for me, just like navigating all the brokenness that I was experiencing.
Yeah.
And just feeling rejected. I just always felt like, I don't know, love's like a weird word, but I never felt worthy of being loved, you know?
Wow.
And I just felt like my parents aren't here for me, you know, my family's like just all messed up, and I was just lost. And so I got to California and I started going to this Bible study with my cousin. And I remember learning my first memory verse was Hebrews 11:1. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And I was just like, you know, that verse really, really stuck with me because I was like, what is this? And I'll be honest, I did not like the church that she was going to. I was like, man, this place is boring. I just want to sleep here. Like, you know, it was tough for me.
Yeah.
It was
Yes.
tough,
Yeah.
you know. But then after a few months, I had moved out of her place and was living other places, and so I stopped going to church. Well, then I actually met this girl, and she invited me to go to church with her. And so I went with her.
What was the first church? What was the denomination?
It was a non-denominational church
Okay,
also.
okay.
Yeah. It's just one of those things. I was young and I just wasn't,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And the next church I ended up finding was a non-denominational church also. And it was the first time I'd like walked into the church and been like, oh my gosh, I love this.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
I don't even know that I was seeking God in that moment, but it was like, this is awesome, you know? And I was actually, it was crazy because the first time I went there, like the next week, I was actually going to be moving in with my cousin. Like they lived in a duplex,
Gotcha.
and the people were moving out of the bottom. And so the landlords there had offered for me to move into the bottom portion at a major discounted rate in San Diego, which is crazy.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, San Diego's crazy expensive. I mean, even a studio back in that day was like $1,000, $1,200, you know,
yeah.
and they were giving it to me for $400 a month, and it was incredible. And so, but I felt obligated to have to go to church again. Well, the thing was, I went to this church. I loved this church. Well, the very next week, the week that I was going to be moving back over to where my like cousin lived, they were moving to a new location just right down the street from it. And so I was like, that's crazy. So I talked to my cousin. I was like, hey, is it okay if I go to this other church instead? And she was like, yeah, absolutely. She's like, go wherever you're being fed.
That's right.
You know?
Yeah.
And I appreciated that advice so much because that
Yeah.
was really, really meaningful for
Yeah.
me because it felt like a release, you know, like it wasn't being forced,
Yes.
you know, and she never told me I had to go to church with her. She never, like, that was never a stipulation for anything. Like, it was just, I just felt it. It's
Yeah.
like in the Philippines, we have a term called utang sa loob, and it's like an internal debt. It's like
Yeah.
you feel like you owe somebody something even though you don't. So I started going to this other church, and it was quite incredible. And I was like really like getting to know God, and it was powerful.
What
Yeah.
What was the big difference between the two non-denominational churches that made you love one and fall asleep in the other?
Delivery in the
Yeah.
messages. It's
Yeah, that's it.
It's
Yeah.
how some pastors, I mean, it's like you can preach the same gospel, but between like one pastor and another pastor, the way that you receive it is going to be different.
That's
Yeah,
right,
their demographics are going to be different based on the way that they talk and the way that they communicate. That's
Yeah.
something that I've experienced before firsthand too.
Yeah.
Where it's
Yeah.
like one of them, you're just like,
And that's life, though.
Are you like
That's
talking about
life,
Pastor
too.
Brad right now, or no? Oh,
of
no, I'm
course
saying
not.
that. Sorry,
Love you,
Pastor
P.
Brad.
Brad. Love
Sorry,
you,
bro.
P. Brad.
But that's life too, really. I
Yeah.
mean,
It
we
really
take
is.
advice from some people, but somebody else gives us the same advice, and we reject it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like,
Yeah.
but that's just how we are. I mean, that's human nature. you
It really
know,
is.
So,
Really, really is.
but I mean, we connect with some people and don't connect with others.
Yeah,
you know,
that's true.
And I mean, that's kind of like what you said earlier. I mean, when I connected with you, we just connected,
Is
you know,
it?
and just
Yeah.
clicked, and it's
That's
like,
it.
no, this is a brother. Like, I mean, and there's plenty of other people that I talk to that are not that, you know, it's
Right.
like, you know,
It
so
just depends. It
yeah,
really
you're great,
depends.
you're nice, I like you, but the way you connect with people is
That's
not
right.
the same. And
And
that's
God
the
does
same
it
here.
strategically too. Like God always has a plan with who you're supposed to connect with and all of the different little things. Because same thing with the church that I used to go to versus FLF. I have found God a lot more at FLF versus the previous church, and that has nothing to do with them doing anything wrong necessarily. It's just the way that I receive the information, and God does it. I almost think on purpose. Because he's like, not everybody's supposed to connect with just one person or one set preacher or pastor or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, we have so many different personalities.
Yes.
You know? So I think that's why you have, talking about Pastor Brad and Pastor Vic, they're two completely different people. Both of them extremely gifted, you know, both incredible men of God, you know, but they're not the same either, you know? And so it's just how it is, you know?
Yeah. So you're going to a new church with a girl.
Just the 1 week. Yeah. And then after that, like, I knew I wasn't going to get anywhere with her. And she was going to be moving anyways. And so then I started going to that other church like, once they moved. So
nice. And then that's when God became present in your life then.
Yeah. He started moving in my life, and I was like, man, and I wanted to be there.
I say, I take that back. He's always been present, because we'll talk about that in a second, because we have a lot of relation on younger ages and God always being there. But you've seen it, felt it, noticed it.
Yeah, it was completely different at that point, because I felt like so many times when you walk in and you feel like, man, are they talking to me?
Oh, my goodness.
And it was like that, you know, it was like, and I just really, that's the Holy Spirit, you know, that was just a conviction of the Holy Spirit, just really speaking to me. Yeah. And I ended up joining this group called 1825, which was like a young adult ministry that they had there. And it was an absolutely incredible, phenomenal ministry.
Wow.
And they had it, it was 3 nights a week. And I ended up like joining the leadership for that. They have a summer break. During the summer break, they offer for people to come in and train, you know, over the summer to be leaders, like what they called table leaders at the time. And so I did that, and I started on leadership there. And I'll never forget, like, because I was going to what they called 1825 Cafe, but then there was one more night which was called Remnant, and it was a different youth pastor. And I remember going to like Remnant for the first time, and I was on my lunch break, like that next week, sometime throughout that next week, I was on my lunch break, and I got a call, and I was like, hello, and he's like, hey, this is Pastor Bobby from Remnant, and he's like, I just wanted to follow up with you and see how your week's going. And for me, that was like the first time I'd ever like had somebody really like reach out to me.
Yeah.
And it felt genuine.
Yeah. And
it felt like he actually cared. And before he got off the phone, he's like, hey, like, how can I pray for you? He's like, no, I want to pray for you right now. Like, you know, and,
oh, wow.
And he like prayed for me right there over the phone. And I remember that just left like such a powerful like moment in my life.
Yeah.
And at that time, I really just felt like God was saying, like, I see you, like, I know you, I care about you. All this stuff that you've been like trying to drink away, all this stuff that you've been trying to just bury. God's like, I don't want to just bury it, you know, like he's like, I want to wash it away.
Yeah.
That's so good.
And they were doing a baptism, and one of my friends from like Remnant and Cafe was getting baptized, and he asked me to come like to his baptism. I heard you talking about this too.
Yeah.
So
bring him in.
So I went to the baptism, and I was actually going to pick up my brother and his wife from the airport, like right after this. And so I was fully clothed, normal clothes, whatever. And they were like, hey, if anybody's here that still wants to get baptized that, you know, didn't sign up for it, then get in the water. And I just really felt like God was telling me in that moment, like,
that's it.
Get in the water. Time. And I jumped in the water, and he said something to me at that moment. He said, Caleb, I want you to understand. Before he baptized me, he's like, this is like ice cream. He's like, for a lack of better, like a better explanation. We used to go to it was really popular back then. Like, it just came out, like the concept of like the frozen yogurt places where you put all your own toppings, choose your like frozen yogurt, like choose all your toppings, stuff like that. And after we'd get done with Remnant, we'd go there and hang out a lot. And so he was like, it's like that. He's like, but imagine every time that you walk in there, the only thing you can choose is plain old vanilla. You can't have all the toppings. You can't have all the other stuff. Like, all you can have is vanilla. And he's like, and that's sin. He's like, think about it like that is sin. He's like, you have no choice over that. Every time you go, that's all you can get. He's like, but God gives you the freedom. Like, yeah, vanilla is still an option. He's like, but there's birthday cake. There's cheesecake, there's chocolate, and he's like, there's sprinkles, there's whipped cream, there's all these toppings that you can put on it. God has all this other goodness for you. The sin is still an option, but God gives you so many more great options to choose from. You just have to make the choice of which one you're going to choose.
Wow.
And for me at that
That's
moment,
so
that was
good.
such a powerful statement. And I knew it was God, because that was one thing. Like I was really struggling, because I'd be like reading my Bible and I'd get a phone call like, hey, let's go to the club. And one of my friends, like a good friend and coworker of mine, like always had VIP at the club. And so we never had to wait in line, never had to have co-pays. I never had to pay for anything, like going to a club. And so it was great for me, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
especially in San Diego, it was super expensive, you know?
It's extremely expensive.
And I didn't have any money. Like, and so, but I'd be reading my Bible and I'd get that phone call and I'd close my Bible and I'd go. Then I'd come home and I'd be like, God, why did I just make that choice? You know? And I always felt like I couldn't choose differently. I felt like that was such a stronghold on my life. And when he said that, like, that was such a powerful moment for me. And when I got baptized, literally, like, this is why I'm so strong into baptism too, because like when I came out of that water, I mean, I literally felt so different. Like it was not the same. I was never the same person after that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like all of my addictions gone. It wasn't like this slow fade thing after that. It wasn't like I weaned myself off of drinking. I weaned myself off of pornography. I weaned myself off. I was like, no, I weaned myself off of cussing. Like, no, it was gone. Like just gone. Like my coworkers, people like that, like they were like, I haven't heard you cuss today. I was like, because I don't cuss anymore. They're like, oh, and would laugh at me. And I'm like, no, I don't cuss
I'm
anymore. Like
serious.
it's gone. Like it's gone. Like I don't understand it either. I don't get it either, except for the fact that like God did something crazy powerful in my life
That's
at this
wild.
moment.
Yeah.
You know?
That's awesome.
And it was just, I mean, it was wild. It was such a powerful moment for me. And that's the thing, like, I mean, I preached a couple of years and I go and I was like, God can, or but God, or something like that. And it's like, that message was so real for me too, because I realized like that God can,
Yeah.
you know, God can change your life. God can do the impossible. What seemed impossible for you is still possible with God,
Yeah.
you know,
100%.
and where I felt like I could never change, where I felt like I would never be different, where I felt like I could never have that choice, like God gave me the choice.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you have the power now. You have the Holy Spirit living in you. You know, when the Holy Spirit's living in you, you have the choice whether you say yes to sin or yes to
right.
God.
Yeah.
Or whether you say no to sin or whether you say no to God.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the option's there. You choose which one.
Yeah. He gave us free will.
Yeah,
So you think the baptism was probably one of the most defining moments?
absolutely. Absolutely.
And that
There's-
was 19?
That was in 2009.
So how old were you?
So 17 years ago, I was 22.
I don't do math.
22, 23.
I don't do
Yeah, well,
math.
I'm 40 years old now. So yeah, somewhere around
Yeah,
20.
we're
I
just
think I
gonna
was
go with
22 at
whatever
the
you say.
22, 23. Yeah, something like that. So,
Yeah. And that was it, huh?
yeah, and that was it.
You know, it's sound like you listened to some of the podcasts. You've heard some of the stories were very relatable. And I know I've talked to Gia and other people about the podcast and what it means. And they're like, well, we want to know more about you. I'm like, you know what always happens, though? The person that sits across from here, we have something in common every single time. Like the 9 mom and dad divorcing. Honestly, you're better. You said 9. I don't know how old I was, 6 or 7. You're also better than me because I did the 6, 7. Sorry, guys. Let's just say 7 or 8. You're also better because you said no to drugs. I chose to do them when they were handed to me. And I mean, marijuana, which legal now, back then. Oh, you're good. Back then it wasn't, you know, but part of my story is too, and I kind of heard you talk about that a little bit. It's like God's always been there.
Yep.
He's always been there. He's why you weren't part of 9/11. Your I don't want to say wish, but I mean, you're kind of hoping. That's why it didn't happen. That's why Caleb's sitting here today. That's why there's Beyond Egypt. That's why you have all the things that you do, the beautiful family. And you know, you look at your mom and your dad. I did not know that.
Yeah.
I did not know that. You're super blessed, like some of the best humans on the planet Earth.
They are.
And just down the line. So I guess one thing I was thinking of when you're 9. So what were the ages of your siblings at that time?
11 and 13.
Okay. So you were the youngest and they were doing you kind of looked up to them and been very easy for you to follow that path.
Yeah, for sure.
And then that path probably would have maybe not looked the same.
Yeah, definitely wouldn't look the same.
Yeah.
If God's hand wasn't there, like there's no doubt my life would not look the same at all.
Biological dad still alive or?
Yeah, he's still alive.
Okay. Have anything to do with you?
Yeah, we talk some.
Okay.
Like we're not, we're not super close.
Right.
But no, I still talk to him. I see him some, like not often, but we do talk some.
Well, I'm Robert the realist, so I kind of pry a little bit. So
Yeah, you're good.
yeah, I mean, I had the same thing. I went to prison for 20 plus years and got out, had found God. And I said, I hope you did. And we've talked about it on another podcast. I won't spend a lot of time on it, but we've talked about that. We didn't have a good relationship. He passed away, and I just said, I hope you're in heaven. You know, that's basically all you can do from there. But that's why I was asking, because I did not know that about your life.
No, my real dad, like I don't know, it's tough. He's tough. It's always very negative. It's always like, and I hate, like I hate cigarettes. Like I cannot stand the smell of cigarettes. I can smell cigarettes from a long ways away. And it just drives me insane. And he had stopped smoking for like quite a while, and it was great. And then he got like a new girlfriend, and they've been living together for a few years, and they smoke inside their house. So I can't go inside of his house. Like, you know, so anytime I visit, I'm outside because I can't go inside. And I'm like,
from a 20-year smoker, for being not smoking for 20 years, I can say whatever I want. Smoking is disgusting. Like I can't. We walked into a house the other day, and I had a client with me, and she had her kids with me, and the woman, it's been a while since I've been in a house and somebody smoked in it. The day she was burning one while we were in there, I'm like, okay, doors, okay, all right, we're out of here. Like, and I'm like, I'm sorry for the 20 years I smoked around my friends. But back then, it was, we'd go to the club, you know, if you call it the club, but we'd go to the bars and people could smoke in the bars. So it was just like, if you didn't smoke, you smoked anyways, because you were there, you know, with the other people that smoked. So yeah, but I always tell people I can say what I want about smokers because I used to be one. So
cigarettes are gross.
They're gross.
They smell terrible.
They smell terrible. And there's no, I'm washing this off me smell. Because I used to think that, I was like, I wash my hands, I put some gum in. No, bro, you stink.
No.
You stink.
it was so bad because we were working firework tent a couple of years ago in Macon, and so my dad and them lived not very far from it, and so they were like, if you guys need to come shower, like just come here and shower. And so one night, my wife doesn't know how to drive, but my dad's wife or whatever, girlfriend, she was like, oh, I'll come pick her up, and you know, so she can go shower. So all right, great. She went and showered, came back. Just from the time of getting out of the shower and getting outside, her hair smelled so bad. And I was like,
my God.
and I told her,
you
I
smell
said,
worse than when you left.
I was like, Savoko, like I cannot, like you can't, you can never go shower there again because it smells so bad. It's like it's way bad. Worse than if you didn't shower at all.
Yeah.
And
man, that's rough. That's rough.
You know, smoking's kind of, I think it's declined as far as people doing it.
Yeah,
It really has. It really
it's
has.
declined.
You see it less and less.
It's good. It's good that it's, but now we're just vaping. So it's whatever.
Yeah, I would say vaping. It's one. You
Whatever.
replace one sin with another.
Oh,
you know?
man, I've tried the vape. I've tried the vape since, I mean, probably in the last like 3 or 4 years. I had a buddy of mine that had one. I'm like, I got to try this thing. I almost died. Like, I was like, I don't even know how you do this. I'm about to die. My lungs are on fire. Yeah. Yeah. I even tried one of those Zens and I had to spit it out. I was like, I can't do it. Like, I'm still that guy, right? So I'm like, I'll try one of these. But yeah, no vape, no Zens, guys. If
Please,
you can help.
no.
Right.
Yeah, so San Diego, baptized, new guy.
Yep.
Around 22.
Yep, 22, 23, somewhere in there.
And then let's segue to Beyond Egypt.
So with Beyond Egypt, after I got baptized, I ended up going to, it was a little while later, but I ended up going to a discipleship school. It was a 1-year discipleship program called Impact 195. No longer exists, but it was a really, really incredible program. It's a discipleship program where you spend 4 hours a day, 5 days a week, where, you are just being fed. And
that's awesome.
It's a feast. And it was incredible. And so it would run in 3 months, every 3 months. And then after the 3 months, you'd have a break for a month. But during that, you would, they had mission trips options if you wanted to go on a mission trip. And so I went to an undisclosed place in Asia. Can't disclose it on here just for safety purposes. But it was really, really, really incredible, that trip. And we biked 250 miles throughout this country and just got to go share. Yeah, it was amazing. We got to go share in villages and stuff, and it was incredible. And then I went to Nigeria, and that trip was wild.
Wow.
Absolutely wild. It's a really long story. I can't get into it all here, but if you want to know that story sometime, I'll tell you.
Sign him up.
Right, get
it
back
was
on.
quite. I mean, it was unbelievable. That trip is like the first time I seen like supernatural miracles, though. Like, and
Yeah, definitely got to get you back on.
and
that
it
one.
was
Yeah.
it was over and over. I mean, it was wild. And like I said, everything about that trip was wild. I mean, the stay there was wild. Our trip there was wild. Like what God did there was wild. I mean, it was just all. I mean, just unbelievable, incredible. And so then at the end of school, when we were graduating, I was working for a pretty big company. I would travel like 5 different states for them, doing human resources, loss prevention. They had a huge meeting one time, and they invited me to be part of this meeting. And during this meeting, it was meant to encourage you to like move up, to level up, to like go to the next level.
Yeah.
And so they were showing like pictures of them like partying on each other's boats and yachts and, you know, all these movie stars and artists and all these like all this stuff. And then they had their Lamborghinis and Bugatti and all these cars that were on display like during like throughout the meetings. And in that moment, I was like, God, my life has to be worth more than just getting rich and dying.
Yeah.
Because that's all I was chasing after. I was just chasing after wealth, even though I was a Christian. I was still just chasing wealth.
Yeah.
Like, it's like that give, send, go, you know, like some give, some send, you know, and
Yeah.
some go, you know, and for me, I was like, well, that's my position. Like I just give, you know, and I've always loved giving, and not to boast in that or whatever, but that's just like, I mean, that's just what I like. Like I've always hated when people treated me, and I love
Same.
to like pay for other people. And I know that sounds weird with me being a missionary now, but anybody in the Philippines will tell you the same thing. I mean, it doesn't matter. I still try to give as much. I mean, I give until there's nothing left. You know,
Yeah.
like, and it doesn't matter. Like, you see my bank account, it's almost always zero because I don't care. I'm like, I'm not, I mean, Brad and Meredith we're talking about, but you know, the Bible talks about storing up in your storehouses. How can God bless it if you don't have storehouses? I'm like, well, I don't know, because God's just going to do whatever he's got to do because I don't have storehouses, you know, like, so you can't bless your storehouses if you don't have them. But
There you
well,
go.
that's all right. He also says, I mean, why would you worry about the birds? He's like, are you not more important than the birds of the air? You know, or
Yeah.
the lilies of the field, you know, but yet
I'll
I
always
provide for
find
them
a
every
way.
day.
Every
you know?
day.
So,
He'll provide.
He'll pave the way.
I'm like,
Yeah.
so for some, you need storehouses, but for me, no. So I just need faith. That's all. So, but yeah, so in that moment though, at that meeting, I felt like God told me go to the Philippines, and I knew nothing about the Philippines in this moment.
I was going to say, like,
I mean,
where's
nothing.
this?
I didn't even know where the Philippines was on a map.
I didn't either until I came seeing you.
Yeah, it's okay.
I probably still don't.
I was going to be moving there,
can
and I
get the
didn't know
globe
where
if
it
you
was.
want.
So
Yeah, that's crazy.
But I just felt like God told me go to the Philippines. And I actually had a classmate who was Filipino. And so I started sharing with like a few of them. I was like, hey, I feel like God's calling me to the Philippines. Does anybody else want to go? You know? And at first everybody thought I was crazy too. And then some of them started like thinking about it. And my classmate who is Filipino, she's like, well, my husband is actually like has family still there. And so she's like, you know, I can contact you with them and see what we can do to find you a place there. And that's kind of how it happened. And so for 1 year, I was going to go to the Philippines for 1 year. And after that, I was coming back. And so that's what I did. There were 4 of us that ended up going, 2 of them for 6 months, and the other 2 of us stayed for a year. After that year, we flew back, and I left most of my stuff in storage, or even left a lot of my stuff at my place and just rented out like fully furnished. And I didn't get rid of my car. I still had my car. I still had my furniture, everything. And people would always talk about being sold out. Like, oh, you're sold out for Jesus. Oh, you're sold out for Jesus, you know? But whenever I got back, it was like, I'm not really sold out because I kept everything.
Yeah.
I'm not losing anything.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And so for me, it was like, you have to understand, my first year in the Philippines, it was so tough.
Yeah.
I mean, everything about it was tough. Internet at that time was almost non-existent. You'd be at the computer shop. Like, so there was no internet on your cell phones. This was 14 years ago now. Like, I've been there for 14 years.
Wow.
There was no internet on your phone. It was really, really, really hard to even make a call internationally.
Yeah.
You'd be at the internet cafe for at least an hour to 2 hours just to be able to send one message. So you would type your message and try to send it. It would take like an hour to 2 hours just to be able to send or receive a message.
Yeah.
And
Make sure that message has
and
everything
it was
you need
like,
in it.
yeah. So I mean, the language barrier was so different. I mean, the food was different. The lifestyle. I mean, everything. I mean, we were taking showers out of a bucket, and it was wild, and it was a complete change of lifestyle for me. So it was tough, and there were moments where, I mean, you're literally pouring everything out for these people, you know, and then you pour so much into people and you watch them walk away. And it's one of the hardest things.
Wow. Yeah.
You know,
That would be tough.
and then you have nobody to talk to about it because nobody understands you. And a lot of them speak English. Like, it's not that, but it's like when you're mentoring people, when you're discipling people, when you're raising them up, it's hard to talk to them on the same level that you would one of your mentors, you know, or one of your pastors, or somebody that you look up to, or somebody that you really trust, like that close friend of yours that you left behind, you know, and it was tough. And we had taken in, we were feeding at least 20 to 30 people would stay at our house every single night. And so most days, like, there's no breakfast, there's no lunch, like, we're just being able to eat dinner. And so we could feed everybody, because that was all our budget allowed. We were like $400 a month, and that went for everything, you know, and visa fees, food, travel. I mean, everything, you know.
That's not cheap.
And no. And so when I first came back to the US, I went to, like, one of my friends wanted to meet me up at like Starbucks or Coffee Bean. I can't remember which one it was. But because I hate somebody paying for me, but I didn't have money to be able to pay for them. So I was like, I'm going to go early so I can order my own drink so they don't have to pay for mine, but then I don't have to pay for theirs either. And so I went early and I ordered that drink, and I sat down, and I wept like a baby. I mean, I just cried because I had just spent $5 on a drink. And for that $5, I could have fed all those people.
Yeah.
And all I could think is I just left behind these 30 people, and I just drank away what I should have been feeding them with.
Yeah.
And I cried. And in that moment, like, God was like, see, you're not really sold out. You know? And that's whenever I decided in the moment, all right, I'm going back. I can't stay here and live this life anymore. This isn't what I'm called to. And so that's when I went back. And then, so for Beyond Egypt itself, so it really started 14 years ago, but as a ministry itself, or as a nonprofit, I guess, it only started about 5 years ago. I was really wanting to, like, figure out, like, the nonprofit, you know, stuff, and I'm still figuring it out. It's a tough, like, thing to manage. It's a tricky stuff.
It is some tricky stuff. That's right.
But especially being international, it's so crazy.
Sure, it's twice as bad.
But Beyond Egypt itself, I was praying, and I was like trying to find a name for this organization. And one of the things that I deal with a lot there is, like, poverty mindset. And poverty mindset is where you want to spend the least amount of money to get you through. But they want to, it's always being broke. And they're in this mindset, well, I don't have money, so I can't spend it, you know, to get something better that's going to last me longer. And I'm like, well, if you would just save for another week, if you would just save for another 2 weeks, then you could buy something that's going to last you a year instead of a week, instead of always having to have it right then.
Yeah.
And on top of that, it's always like, I was realizing after doing ministry for so long, is human nature also, is we still have that sinful nature,
Yeah.
you know? And I've always loved, like, my name is Caleb Joshua. Okay. And so one of my favorite books in the Bible is the book of Joshua. And it's really crazy if you actually know, like, Joshua is actually Jesus. And in the old, like, I don't know how it is, Hebrew, Aramaic,
Right.
like all that stuff, like whatever. But that's just stuff I'm not good with. So forgive me.
okay, me neither. Me neither.
Any of you, like,
You're in good company.
Biblical scholars are listening, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
okay?
you're in good company.
Real good
But it's just not my strong point right there. But it's a really, really, really interesting book, and it's super powerful when you dig into it. And we used to take people every year on a Joshua trip. And so the end of our first year, we took them on a Joshua trip for 5 days on this island, and had a hurricane come through, and that was wild.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it was, we were literally abandoned 3 hours away on this, like, tiny island with no trees, no anything. And we had a pop-up, like, kind of like it's not a real tent, you know, just the pop-up tents that are just a shade.
Yeah.
That's what we had, you know. And the very first day they just come, they drop us off. They're like, we'll be back in 5 days to pick you up. That's how we had it arranged, because there's no cell phone stuff to do there, you know.
Wow.
And that very first day, very first night we were there, a typhoon hit. But needless to say, on that trip is you learn about how the Egyptians, the Israelites were enslaved to the Egyptians. And then they go off and they wander in the wilderness for 40 years. God's providing for them. God's doing everything for them. Still in the midst of that, still in the midst of their wilderness, God's still providing for them. God's still taking care of them. But they hadn't yet entered into the promised land, and this was the thing I was seeing, like, spiritually, is so many people are stuck in the wilderness. We start going to church. We start, having God do something in our life, and we're feeling good. We're in this moment where, okay, God's working in my life. Like, my life is changing. And it's kind of like that. I mean, we leave behind the alcohol. We leave behind the sexual immorality. We leave behind all this other stuff. And we get to this spot, where it's like, okay, but we're always looking backwards at what we used to have. Oh, but man, it was so much fun. Oh, but man, like there was, so much, quote unquote, freedom in those days. Now it's like this, and so we always want to look back. And I was like, it's like, we're still enslaved to those things. And so Beyond Egypt was like, I gave it that name because really it was like God I literally had a dream and felt like God gave me this name, Beyond Egypt. I had actually submitted all of my paperwork already with a different name.
Wow.
And everything was already submitted, done. It'd been like 2 weeks, something like that. I had a dream. I woke up and God was like, Beyond Egypt. And I was like, and so I'm in the shower, I'm praying about it. And I'm like, God, why would you give me a name now? I was like trying to think, for all this time. Like, I came up with some stupid name that I threw on it just because I didn't care. Honestly, I didn't even want to have a nonprofit. Like, it was just like, wow. And so right after I got out of the shower, I get a call from the state. Hey, there's a problem with like your mailing address. So we need to fix this like problem with your mailing address. I was like, can you change the name too? And they're like, yeah. Oh, wow. So it was all just complete confirmation. But Beyond Egypt was all about like, we get stuck in the wilderness because we don't want to cross the Jordan into the promised land. It's that last stretch. Like, all of that's just right on the other side of the Jordan, but we get here and we get comfortable because we see like, man, once I go there is no turning back. Yeah. Like, once the Holy Spirit is really living in you, there is no turning back from that. Yeah. Once you give up your life completely, it's kind of like moving on from like that knowing God, or knowing about God to knowing Him, to making Him Lord of your life. Yeah. Because when God is your Lord, like, it's completely different. It is. Like, the Bible says that God is your Lord way more than it says He's your Savior. But so often we want to look at God as our Savior because we want Him to save us. Every time we're having a problem, pray. Yeah. Well, pray, God, take this away. God, do this. God, whatever. And we use Him sometimes as a genie. Yeah. And it's like, but instead it was like, no, like once you do that, like once God becomes your Lord, it's completely different. Your life is not the same because you're no longer in control of your own world. Yeah. You're no longer in control of your own life. And so it's like, but people don't want to enter into that because they're scared of what happens when you do.
That's true. Yeah.
And it's like, and so instead they're like begging, no, I just want to go back to that. I just want to go back to Egypt, and that's what they were doing. They were saying like, no, it'd be better if we were still enslaved to them instead of eating this manna, instead of depending on God every single day, and it's tough. Being a Christian is tough.
Amen. How many times I said
that? So many times.
But man, when you step into the fullness of God's promise and you cross that Jordan, whatever that Jordan is for you, whatever that wall is for you. And that's the thing, like people's Egypt isn't the same. Yeah. My Egypt might have been alcohol. My Egypt might have been loneliness. My Egypt might have been rejection. But we all have our own Egypt. We all have those things that we've been enslaved to that is trying to pull us back and say, no, you're not good enough. No, you're not worthy enough. No, I am your comfort place. I am your savior. And God's like, no, I have so much more for you. I have the sprinkles. I have the whipped cream. I have, I have all this other stuff for you, And it's like all you have there is vanilla. Yeah. But He's like, but you cross this and I have everything for you. Yeah. I have everything good that you could possibly imagine for you right here on the other side. Are you going to take it or not?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Did he? I feel like he prepared for this. Like he just went from the ice cream shop, throw the sprinkles and toppings back out.
I actually didn't prepare
on top.
I can't prepare it. So.
That's preaching in here.
That's if you see me preach, I don't use notes.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
Because I can't. Like I'll have like a few like my main points just so I don't forget whatever's going to be up on the screen behind me. Like, but outside of that, I don't use notes. And if you go to my first service and you go to second service, they're never the same. Yeah. Because I cannot.
I'll stay for both next time.
I'm not somebody who can.
As somebody who's seen both, I can attest.
Okay. I haven't seen both. I'm always happy when he's up there.
I always hate it. Okay. I always hate it. I can tell he's like. Yeah,
But,
I
yeah.
hate every time. I shouldn't say that. Okay, I'm not a public speaker, and I do not like to be on the stage.
Yes.
But it
Yeah.
is a privilege and an honor to get to share God's
And
word.
you do
Yeah.
great.
And so
you
have to
bring
take
it every
Every
single
single
time.
Well, I got to hear you in the Philippines, and you tore it up.
Oh
so.
man, that was bone chilling to me.
Get Bobby
That
up
was-
on the platform.
Oh, you better calm down now. I'm starting to get a little sick to my stomach.
I'm calling Paige.
It was really good.
Sick to my stomach. Yeah, I don't know how I could throw that together and talk about a storm in their life when we were preparing for a storm.
Yeah,
I was like, tell them that I didn't prepare this today. Like I prepared this a month ago, and we're getting ready to have. Yeah, it was pretty wild. No, and that's but I could.
But that's God. That's the Holy
it
Spirit.
is.
You know,
That
He
is.
already
It
knew.
is.
I mean, God's
Yeah.
timing is perfect.
It is.
Always.
It is. Yeah. Man, you for somebody that didn't want to talk today, man, you brought it.
I know the analogies were crazy. I was like, this is what I'm talking about.
I'm like looking over for notes. He's like
best-
throwing sprinkles out
No,
there.
I
We're
left
gonna-
my, I
we're
left my
gonna get
phone
some
in
of
the
the
vehicle
best
even,
clips
so I wouldn't be
ever.
distracted.
Yeah, we are, man. I really enjoyed all of that, and I probably didn't talk much because I was with you as you were speaking. Like sometimes I try to stop people and ad lib some questions and stuff, but I caught myself a couple times just. Maybe it's good video went off because I was just staring at him like I have a crush on him or something. I'm there getting sprinkles.
Right.
I'm there in the $400 a month
It is.
condo. And it's funny because not the first time I've probably done that with somebody that's been in here before, but that's what I do when I read the Bible.
Yeah.
Is I put myself there. That's why I always
how I am.
like The Chosen, the show The Chosen, because that's what I do. I'm like, bro, I'm standing right next to you right now. You know what I mean? And so that's what I was doing with you right there. I was just
Visualizing
there.
it all.
And then you're like talking about all the things that you've done. Like, yeah, amen. I know. I've been there. I've done that. Yeah. That's the other part about it. When people want to hear about my stories, I'm like, it seems like everybody that I bring in, we're vibing because we know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
And there's a reason why I asked you to come in and why I asked Paige and Pastor Brad and Vic. And we got a guy coming in. I don't even know him. He's coming in. He was a pagan. I'm gonna have to Google that.
I'm excited about
He
that.
again
'Cause I'm gonna
reached
have
out to me.
questions.
He said, "I'm going to make your AirPod thingy the best it's ever been."
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yep.
And he's like, "I
That's
have
the
to.
best.
I have mental health problems." And because I told him, like, he's coming in, and I'm like, "We just flow." Right.
Yep.
We don't. I'll give you a couple things I want to know about you, and then we just flow. And he's like, I can't. I gotta write it out. I can't. I'll lose my mind. Like I'm like, all right, bro, we'll do whatever
You
Yeah.
won't write it
you're gonna
out,
do. He's
that's
like, yeah, I don't even know the guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got. I mean, it's been a blast. I appreciate you coming in. Super awesome. We did lose
It's been
part
good
of
to
the,
be here. So thanks for
Man,
having me.
Man, it's been awesome. You brought it, and I mean, they just keep getting better.
Yeah, truly.
They just keep. We lost a little bit of video, but we'll make the video people happy.
Yeah,
for
that's
about,
my fault. I forgot to plug in the
about 50
battery.
minutes.
It
Editor
is-
in chief. We got one check mark.
Sorry.
One check mark. I knew when I seen that go off. I'm like, she couldn't charge the camera.
Well, there's
See-
somebody that was missing today, so we can blame it on them.
Yeah.
If they were here, then it would have been all
Exactly.
these
It would've
other
been fine. It
responsibilities.
would've been
You know what?
fine.
The times that we really talk about Jesus and God,
Yep.
we've had
Issues.
Yes.
issues.
Every.
We had this one guy that
single
came in one of our very first podcasts, and he was talking about how he had died and went and been to hell, and that thing stopped recording. And it's like what she said, almost a double. Like you have to say stop,
And then
yes.
you have to click it
You
again.
have to click-
Yeah.
So
It's
it's
recording.
information and it just stopped by itself.
Stop recording. The computer was fully charged. It died.
Within
What
an hour. No, not even. It was
Yeah.
literally was dead within 30 minutes and it had 2.5 hours left of charge on
We
it.
had to start him 3 times.
Yeah,
Oh,
and then I had
wow.
to go get my computer, and by the end of it, my computer, which was at like 95% whenever we started, was at 10% whenever we ended, and that was like,
So we expect everything. Like
Yeah.
the first time Pastor Vic
Supernatural.
was coming on here, it was supposed to be our first video. It wasn't a video.
it wasn't a video.
It's like it was whatever.
Yep.
And we get people all the time. Well, I like the video better, so we'll have a good in between video and
I'll put something funny
Oh,
on
yeah.
there
Yeah,
or something.
Beyond Egypt or something on
yes.
there.
Yes.
yeah.
Yes,
See,
we'll
it's
do that.
perfect time.
We'll do
Throw them
that.
out there. Get a QR code to where they can scan if they want to, and they can donate to his nonprofit.
There
We're blanking
is.
it out for a
there
reason.
it is.
Yeah.
All right.
I am going to the Philippines in November. If anybody wants to go, I have very few slots left. The plan is to go down there and help build the church. I'm putting a lot of pressure on Caleb
Yep.
to get that up and going to get the plan. I don't even know what they have to deal with over there. But last time I was there, he got the land purchased, and that was super cool. We got to see the land, and I see the services you all have. I know where your services are being held at, and I know we get that church done, it's going to explode.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And I've been to Infanta, and that place is amazing. Those people were apologizing to the Americans that a typhoon went through their house. We're like walking down the street, and they're like, he just wanted to say he was sorry that happened to you guys. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, you don't have a roof. You barely had one anyways, and you're apologizing to me? No, can I fix your roof?
Right. Like, let me help you.
They are I don't even have a word.
Yeah, they're incredible. They are.
I don't have a word. They
Hospitality
are.
is
It's not
unmatched.
It's unmatched. We could send half the Americans over there and learn, and come back, and this country would be great.
It would be 10 times better. Oh my gosh.
A sucker makes an adult's day over there.
Yeah.
Not a Tootsie Roll bubble gum.
Like just a
little
regular
dum-dum.
Regular dum-dum.
We had that was one of my most memorable moments, was handing out dum-dums to everybody, kids, children, small, big, tall, adults, men, women. I'm like, just take the whole bag. Like, I'll get some more. It's just, yeah. I love the Philippines. Have my heart. I always said I love Romania. I'm going to continue to go back to Romania. I've got good friends there, but Philippines has my heart. That's it. And I'm going to do everything I can in my power to help build that church. Whether it's whatever these guys can do. I'm taking back some contractors with us.
Yep, that's going to be exciting.
We got 2 guys going back that builds homes. So
That's awesome.
I'm gonna bring all the talent. We're gonna bring some financials, and we're gonna see if we can get that thing.
Get her done.
Get her done.
Get her done.
No more than
I
what
like
you
it.
want to get done. We should be able to get her done. I gotta do something to it. I gotta do something to it. I gotta do some digging or something.
Definitely going to be some digging.
Yeah.
Definitely going to be some digging. to do,
I can't believe I just said that, but I'll.
Somebody record it.
Yeah. Bobby the realist is going to get real.
We're about to get real. It's like, I can't believe I said I would dig.
And this is recorded, so don't
Yes, it
edit
really
this
is.
part
I'm
out.
going to clip this and post it.
Yeah, we need to clip that part out. Turn
No,
the chief.
I ain't
Sorry,
clipping that
audio
part
just
out.
went
I'm
out.
clipping that
Audio
part
just
and
went
making the audio up on
Audio
it.
just
Turning
went
it
out.
up.
You just send that to me. Whenever he's
Yeah.
there and he's complaining, I'm just going to
Absolutely.
be
yeah.
like, this is just going to be on
Absolutely.
roll.
Absolutely.
I don't know that it can be. It could be harder, but I don't know it'd be much harder than cutting the tree out.
Yeah, that was tough work.
It was some work.
That was a big tree.
That's a big tree.
Monstrous.
Like, its base, you couldn't fit it in this room.
No.
I'm sorry. What?
Yeah, it was like a 200-year-old acacia tree.
So it was a
And it
massive
was
tree.
fell down, knocked down the power, and they're just out there with machetes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, climbing barefoot.
That's crazy.
This with machetes, like chopping stuff up. And then they did up in Dayton get some chainsaws and stuff out there and some trucks. But yeah, the Americans were helping load all that up. And I was like, you guys are just crazy.
That's so fun.
They just worked.
Just
We
working.
worked. I got pictures of it. Pastor Vic I guess we didn't send that picture to him, but I sent that picture to him. He's like, well, I forgot that even happened. I was like, no, because you were back there taking a nap. God bless you. I mean, you were doing the right thing. I can't hate you.
You
You were
do what you
napping.
got to do, but
You were napping.
You were
and
napping.
We were out there just chucking logs into the back of a truck that was 8 foot off the ground. And
Right.
yeah,
It
it's
is
crazy
what it
stuff.
is. It is what it is.
I wouldn't have changed a thing, though.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have changed the typhoon, the earthquake, none of it. It was awesome.
It was crazy
It
tree.
was awesome. So I'm ready to go back, but I'm sure we're doing real good on time.
Oh, we're getting up there with the record time.
No,
I ain't
goodness
gonna lie.
gracious, yeah. All right, she gets to read,
better get
go
out of
all the
here.
way through and edit it.
I would usually watch it over twice, so that's when my day will be consistent of tomorrow.
Again, Caleb, I appreciate you. I appreciate your Beyond Egypt, your ministry. I love it. Love you guys. Love your family. So glad you guys are back. I know you're leaving August 20th.
Something like that. August 30th, 29th, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Somewhere around
And I'm
there.
heading back in November, so it'll
But you
be
know,
just fine.
the times change. So whenever you fly, so I'm never sure. Is it the day we leave? Is it the day we land? Is it?
Right,
God.
So,
whenever-
I know.
like, do we leave on the 29th and land on the 30th? Do we leave on the 30th and land on the 1st?
He's not
Like,
lying.
Right.
He's not lying. That's what I was talking to somebody, a friend of my daughter's, real quick. My friend of my daughter's was talking about it, and she's 12 and she wants to go to the Philippines. And her mom came to pick her up, and we don't know these people very well. They're sweetheart. They're not even from here.
Yeah.
They become real good friends. And I was talking to her mom about it, and her mom, get this, her mom won't even let her stay the night at people's houses, and people can't stay at their house. And I looked at her and I said, I call her Special A. I said, your mom won't even let you stay the night at people's houses. She going to let you go to the Philippines. Yeah. And I go and talk to mom. She's like, that sounds good. I'm like,
What?
so now her and Kaylee are talking about coming to the Philippines.
That'd be
That's
awesome.
awesome, though. That really is.
Yeah. Kaylee's like, but I got to tell you. Kaylee said, Dad, I'm going back to Romania. I
Right.
love her, but I was like, you ain't been to the Philippines yet.
Right. Just hold your horses.
You ain't been to the Philippines yet.
your
Let my
horses.
Romanians. I'm there with both of you. And then real quick, she showed me a picture last night of some nice blue water in the Philippines. Babe, it's not. We ain't gonna talk about that.
Right. We don't talk about that. a
Is
little
there
bit later.
nice blue water in the Philippines?
Yes, there is.
there
Where
is.
we're going?
Where
No.
we're going? No.
Not
Did we
so
still? We swam in it. We I can't even remember what the little things we got out of the bottom with our toes.
Those shells.
What were they called? Gosh, like we took them out and they took like the muscle out of them. We ate them that night.
Yeah.
it was crazy stuff.
It's called mussels. I'm pretty-
They're not mussels, but it's
like
something similar to that.
clam
It's
thingies.
there's so
Talking
many
about.
different kinds, so it's a lot.
So either way, yeah. So she's her and her friend
Bangkalang.
are.
That's what it's called, bangkalang. I don't know what it is in English, so don't
Yeah,
ask.
I don't know in English.
I ate it. Whatever. Found a whole bunch of them. Our team won. We found the most.
That's what I'm talking about.
But yeah, so she's talking about going. So we'll see how that plays out. I'm like, all right, let's go. Said it's even further than Romania, so be prepared for that.
Yeah.
All right, Caleb, I appreciate you coming on, brother. I love you.
Thank you, guys.
And
Love you.
Love your family.
Appreciate it.
And appreciate your time today. And we appreciate you guys tuning in. And if you don't mind, like, comment, subscribe, do all the fun stuff. Appreciate you. Robert Torres out.
Yeah.